So this is a motherfucking amazing. We starting off with our guests already on the couch. It is time to give this tea. Adult Talk X podcast today. You already know what the fuck is going on. The real, the raw, the uncut, the best. We got
Uptown Jenny,
Uptown Jenny and Miss Dani in the house.
Hey y'all. Bye.
Yes.
So happy to be here.
Let's get into it. This is amazing. Thank you girls for coming.
Thank you for inviting us.
Slaying us to death. So we're gonna do this a little different. I know y'all see both of them together, but it kind of comes to team. This is how they want to do this. So more the merrier, girl power.
Absolutely.
But they are individually special of themselves. So today we're gonna highlight that. So we're gonna give you everything that you want to know about these two ladies.
Uh-oh.
So let's
Dangerous.
start to my far right. We have Miss Dani.
Hey guys.
Miss Dani, let's get into, tell your fans, tell everybody that want to know your intro. Let them know if they don't fucking know, because everybody must know. Are you crawling underneath a fucking rock? I'm just saying. Who you are, where did you start? We talking 18 and up. We not doing no weird shit. Where did Miss Dani become Miss Dani? Like, because I mean, look at you. It's a lot to swallow. I mean, my God, you giving everything. Everything I see is giving.
You're
So
so
where did
sweet.
this start?
Okay, so I've always been a freak, but I actually started in the doctor's office. I've been in the medical field for like 10 years before I started doing any type of adult stuff. And I love to always play with myself. I've always been very sexual.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've always been very sexual. So I discovered OnlyFans after being on like Instagram model for a long time, and I was like, I'm gonna try this out. I love to play with myself. I love to suck dick and whatever. I was like, I'm just gonna record it, and it just started from there. And
So she fast forward all the way till motherfucking now for y'all. Cause she don't got no time to play.
That's
But what I'm trying to get to, cause I know y'all wanna know, but for the OnlyFans way, because we know that's super current. But I'm trying to give them like
I fast forwarded all the way
Miss
to that.
Dani, like 18 to 20s, and I'm just like trying to see who I am, and I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Tell them what that was like.
Being in Milwaukee, I mean, it's a really small like town, but to me it was big because that's the only place I've really ever been. Like, I really didn't travel until I was in my 20s. Isn't that crazy? Like,
See, girls.
I know.
Even though you might have ambitions to travel, Miss Dani waited till she was an adult, so it's cool. Pace yourself is what I'm trying to.
But here's the thing. I was always on the internet. MySpace, you remember MySpace?
Yeah, I remember MySpace. So we dating what, like early 2000s?
Yes. So I really started on MySpace.
So she started on MySpace. This is early 2000s. Keep it going. Let's go.
Yes.
What was we doing on MySpace?
So on MySpace, I was meeting guys in Milwaukee because I actually live in the suburbs, like 20 minutes outside of Milwaukee. And I was meeting guys on there, and I was being very crazy because now if you did this and you would meet guys on MySpace and just go to their house with just...
Y'all remember them. I don't know how old everybody is, but I remember them days, them chat room days.
Exactly, like AOL chat room.
room.
So it would be that type of stuff, AOL chat room.
Yes.
I would just...
Everybody got hazel eyes back in the day and was mixed. But anyway, keep going, Miss Dani in Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin.
I would meet guys, and me and my girlfriends, we would go down and just head to their house, go smoke some weed, and not give a fuck what was gonna happen to us. And now I couldn't even imagine doing something like that. I feel like it's changed so much. But I would just be crazy with these guys, hanging out on the porch, drinking what are those called?
40s?
Steel Reserves.
Oh, I remember. Oh, you
Steel
bring it
Reserve.
back.
Beer bonging, hanging out with their
Not even
families.
no worries,
like,
no cares.
I just
met
them. Taking beer bongs at Steel Reserve, smoking weed. Like, I'm telling you, I was really crazy.
So you was already like a people person from a
I was
young
always a
age.
people person, but I always craved like something that I never got at home, because at home it was kind of
So craving attention,
basically craving
period.
attention.
Positive
Yes.
attention, adornment attention. Somebody tell you you look good and beautiful and attend to you.
Yeah,
Period.
so that's what I did. When I MySpace AOL chat room, met up with people, and we hung out. And it was always usually just a one-time thing.
So now we getting into the MySpace posts and the meeting the people and all this on MySpace. But now, how did you become fast forward to Instagram sensation? Like building your name on a social media platform. Like, how did that transition come about? What made you do that?
I don't know, just found Instagram and started taking little phone pictures of myself. I was like, oh, that's cute. And then guys would always tell me, oh, you have a nice little body, which I had an okay body like back then, you know, but okay, I'm gonna try this. So I post up and oh my God, you're so sexy, whatever. So, you know, I started to get that confidence. And
So the fans and
I
the
had-
response that they gave to
the
you.
response from people, and it just went from there. And I started becoming an influencer, you know. And girl, when I look back on these pictures, I'm like, what the fuck were they? What were they singing me? But I had the fan base. Like I developed
Stars
the
are
fan
born.
base.
Stars are born even when they don't know it. They shine
Yeah,
bright. In
but
other
that's
words.
the thing. And I would always get along with other females on social media, so we started networking.
So Milwaukee being so small and everybody kind of getting into this Instagram or social media type phase, you being from Milwaukee and then everybody kind of recognizing you at this time, like how did that make you feel? What was that
Amazing.
like?
I
Talk about
loved
the
it.
first time when you know, shit, I might be popping out here. Oh well, this is raw and uncut. You gonna get that? I'm gonna go X, and you already know. So back on. So yeah. So basically, if you need me, do you need me to reiterate?
No.
Okay,
So
then we-
I don't feel like people from technically, sorry, I'm sweating a little bit, from Milwaukee really recognized me. I think it was more just a broad spectrum from the internet. Because I
Them
don't even.
views, them likes, the
Yeah, I don't even think
inquiries
now.
about you.
I don't even think now, like, people specifically from like my city or surrounding cities are like, oh my God, it's Miss Dani, or they don't say anything.
So Milwaukee, y'all still small.
Yeah,
Miss
Milwaukee
Dani's
is still
trying to
small.
say.
Like,
She's like, if you, but yeah.
yeah, like, or they
She's
just
that
don't
one.
say anything because Milwaukee's a weird town. Like,
Conservative.
yes, it's more conservative. But yeah, I think people are just conservative where I'm from. Like, they just don't speak up. Whereas if like you in New York, then, hey, Miss Dani, or Miami, I'm in a Whole Foods and like, hey, I know who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just don't
Get
speak up.
recognized all over the place.
But I love to
Milwaukee, wake up. Y'all know y'all be watching that.
Wake the.
I know y'all be on Instagram because. So basically, let me get into introducing Miss Jenny. Jenny from the blog Uptown Jenny, because we must go back and forth because they want to come up here like this. So we're gonna make sure
We come in pairs. We're connected at the
Yes.
hip.
we the pairs. They like besties, y'all.
Yes.
And this is all good, but we must highlight everybody. And I feel like we must introduce Miss Jenny here. So Miss Jenny from the blog.
Nice to meet
Queens
you.
native.
Yes.
Social media extraordinaire. I feel like you've been on the web even longer than I would say Miss Dani. As far as the grind, just like, because there was a definite grind for both of you. I mean, anything when you're trying to get something and get people to recognize, it takes time. I mean, you must understand. Nobody wants to be viral, but these ladies have literally, with the era of social media change, y'all been seeing them a very long time.
Very long.
So
Very
you've
long
grown
time.
with them over these years.
I want to put something in there. Like, I've talked to Jenny here and there for like a really long time.
We known each other for years.
And that's the thing though, like we never like truly connected until like recently where we like became attached at the hip, and I think that's like godsend though, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so we
Yes.
gotta talk about that because they was in each
Absolutely.
other's past, but it took till now
Years,
to really
years.
come together. And look at this duo. So
That's
basically, Miss Jenny from the blog. Let's talk about that. Miss Jenny from the blog. Where did we get that name, Miss Jenny from the blog? Because we know that you was a Queens native and you
Yes.
running You are like the queen of New York, Miss Columbia.
New York City, baby.
Shout out to New York. Shout out to Milwaukee.
Shout out to New York.
Spicy right here.
Spiciana. So let's talk about this. Let them know if they don't know.
Well, first of all, let me say, first of all, I am not from Uptown. I got the name Uptown Jenny because I did live in Uptown. But where do you want me to start off first? Because I do have a story.
Let's get to the story. Give them the girls. For your fans, what they don't know, let them know now. Let's talk about where did this Uptown Jenny extraordinaire,
Absolutely.
this woman here, boss extraordinaire come from?
So I started in the industry about 11 years ago when the bartending thing was huge in New York City. Fucking bartenders were popping, strippers were pissed off in New York, and the bartending wave was huge in New York. I don't know if you ever heard of Starlets in New York.
Oh, everybody know about Starlets.
Heavens, you know, it's not the same nowadays, but back then 11 years ago, it was the popping thing. Strippers were pissed off and bartenders were the ones that were making money.
Okay.
About 11 years ago, I remember I wanted to get into that scene, but you know, in order to get into that scene, you had to have at least 10,000 followers on Instagram.
To be a bartender.
To be a bartender to
We ain't talking about the strippers, honey.
Yes.
She just told. I hope y'all following what she just
Yes.
said.
Yes.
The strippers wasn't the one.
No.
It was the bartenders. So
Yes.
Starbridge days versus Cardi days, but that's another story. But
Yes.
she painted it for you.
Yes.
Listen
yes.
now.
So I didn't know what Instagram was. I didn't have an Instagram. Opened up an Instagram. I'm not even gonna lie. I cheated my way in there. I bought me some little fake followers because I wanted to
I've
get
been
into
there too.
Starlets. I wanted to
Yeah.
get into Starlets quick, and I knew that 10,000 followers wasn't gonna happen. You know, I wasn't young.
Organically, but it can happen if you pay for it, and people do it.
They do it now.
Learn.
Now let's not get it twisted.
We don't do that shit now, baby.
Yeah, it's
Let's not
organic.
get it twisted though. This is when I
They
first
paved
started.
the way.
This
It's
is-
real.
Yes,
now.
this is when I first started.
Period.
So, you know, I wanted to grow that media really quick because I wanted to get into the bartending thing. It was a popping thing 11 years ago in New York City. You know, if you was
Okay.
a bartender, that's where the money was and everything. So I grew that 10,000 in a couple of weeks, and I went back and I showed all the promoters, like, listen, I got my IG, I have my body done. I started getting my body done at 17, so I always had the fat ass look, everything, and they right away say, yeah, let's go, you win. So I started in Starlets, started bartending in Heaven, started bartending in all the well-known clubs in Queens.
Got
which
it
we know.
popping.
Got it
in
popping.
New York.
And it just started from there, and then I started doing magazines. Shout out, rest in peace to DJ K Slay, who was the one
Shout out.
who really put me on.
Very supportive. I see
yes,
DJ
for
Slay
sure.
was very
Yes,
supportive
yes,
of
yes.
that
Rest in
girl.
peace.
Rest in peace to DJ K Slay, one of my
Damn.
biggest mentors. Put me in a magazine, which we all know, Straight Stuntin'.
Period.
And
I heard of that.
yes, started getting known in the
And
magazine.
this is the early 2000s.
This was in the early 2000. I would say 2010,
Okay.
2011. Started doing all the urban magazines, all of them, every
Yeah, I
type of
remember the
urban
magazine.
magazine you could think of. I
Prison
read inside of
magazines,
that.
prison
Y'all,
magazines.
especially y'all that come home and
Yes.
still in there. Y'all know the magazines.
Yes.
They done got y'all through.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes. So that's how I started, and started getting known because of the magazines. You know, the magazines really helped me out, put my name out there. You know, even though they ended up in the jail system.
That's like
it
the best.
helped me. It
They
helped
help.
me. It helped
So
me.
shout out to we love
Free the
y'all.
real
free
ones.
the free the real ones.
ones. Free the real
Because
ones.
you see,
Absolutely big. But
they
a lot of
appreciate
fan
y'all
base.
too.
Yes. And around that time, I could say it was around maybe 2015, 2016. OnlyFans started popping out, and the bartending wave died out in New York. It wasn't as popular as it was, but I didn't get into OnlyFans. I didn't get into
So
OnlyFans.
2016. So for y'all that didn't
2017 around
grasp
that.
what she just said, it's been around.
It's been
Okay,
around.
this is what I'm sorry to stop you, but these girls don't understand. A lot of us though, we started when OnlyFans first started.
Yes.
So we've been doing this.
I heard
So-
that it was even somebody, not to cut you
No,
off,
no,
that
go ahead.
so you could probably piggyback on this. There was a guy who passed away. Maybe you can tell me the name because I can't recall now. that's the owner of OnlyFans, or one of them, back in the day was actually scouting you girls, trying to make it so that you make your money.
Yes, I remember
back in
about
the day.
that. I remember about that. Yes.
So it's all true.
It's all true, absolutely. I don't know if you remember about that when the OnlyFans owner passed away.
He was literally contacting the big girls like these girls here, Miss Uptown Jenny just told you.
Yes, I remember that.
He was literally looking for these girls who had these big followings to actually put their money with OnlyFans years ago back into their hands.
So I remember, my obviously my Instagram at that point already was growing organically because I had the fan base from the magazines, from bartending in New York, doing that a few years. So it started growing. So now I became the bartender from New York to becoming the magazine vixen to now becoming an Instagram model. But we all know that Instagram doesn't pay, even though you become the Instagram model, what came from that was...
You might get some money from your following, but they don't pay you
listen, that's where we're going to go to. So that's where we came. Where the tricks come from Instagram, and I got myself into that life.
We love you.
I got myself into that life, around, around 2018, even though OnlyFans was... I got myself into the escorting life, and I started doing that about, say, 2 years. I made a shitload of fucking money.
Okay, she was already popping.
I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not ashamed to say it.
Y'all want to pay to meet me? I'm ready.
Exactly. Not
as long as
ashamed
you
to
doing
say
safe, we ain't shaming nobody.
One thing I don't respect is girls who like to live that closet whole life. No, you a hoe. Don't live that closet whole life, all right?
How about the ones that do it for free?
You fucking that game on me!
We don't want to talk about that either.
No,
they do it for love and this and that and the third. It's all love.
Because we don't want to call your name out because you got a lot of fun.
It's all love.
Never mind.
See, on the Adult Talk X, it's the real. We're not gonna bullshit you, but we're not about to hurt nobody.
We're not gonna. Just because you have a lot of followers, bitch, you ain't how you fucking for free.
No, and I've had a lot of problems because of that. Because I've had people in the industry reach out to me, and my first question is, what am I getting out of that? And I don't give a fuck how famous you are, if you're an athlete or what you are. This pussy costs money. Simple as that.
But this pussy talk.
That's right.
Y'all let Carisha them tell you.
Exactly.
Well,
and
they told you.
Yes. But doing 2 years of being in the escort life, became very... it's very draining emotionally, very draining physically, very draining, even though the money was fucking crazy.
What's the draining part about it?
Seeing a lot of men, people you don't know, worried about your safety and all of that. It just became very draining, and being judged. When I first started doing it, I was very, very afraid of my family finding out. I was very ashamed of it. And then we came to the point where I was like, I don't give a fuck, It is what it is. If you like me, you don't like me, this is what I do. I'm not hurting anybody.
And I don't judge you for doing what you do.
It's what it is. And
you ain't making nearly as
so it, became very draining for me. Very, very draining, the traveling. Just very draining emotionally. Very, very draining emotionally.
So it does take toll on you. You are trying to give yourself to other people.
Absolutely.
So let's fast forward from like OnlyFans, Instagram, OnlyFans. Now we is doing mainstream porn. Yeah. You was in the mainstream, honey, the big screen. So let's talk about your first thought of ever showing that pussy on the line, honey. Where did that ever come from?
Crazy enough, I was talking to a friend and he asked me if I wanted to come to Exotica Miami to work for his
Exotica is a convention.
Yes, adult convention. To sell his kitty pills and natural stuff for men and women.
So sexual enhancement.
Enhancement, yes. And I said, sure, why not? It'd be cool to see how this all works. And I was going down there, and at this point I was advertising just my little solo stuff on Twitter. I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could post porn stuff on Twitter.
So Instagram is a hell no. Twitter, they're more liberal.
Yes.
Or sexual.
So I made me a little Twitter page, and I was posting just like these tiny little clips and some cute little pictures on there. And a amateur company hit me up. He said, I see you're going to be down in Exotica. You look really good for an amateur porn movie. I said, a porn? What do you mean a porn? I'm like, I don't think so. I really don't. Let me think about it. So I thought about it, and he was like, I'll give you, you know, whatever you want. Well, at this point, I'm like, I don't know what a rate is for porn. Like, the fuck do
you mean whatever, ever?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. Let me just think about this. At this point, you know, I'm not really making that much at this doctor's office. I like it, but let me think of a number. So I throw it out there. He said, okay. And I said, okay, I'll be there. And my co-star happened to be someone that I already knew. He was doing photography at this time. And I love doing photo shoots, so I had already known him. I was like, I'm gonna be comfortable with this co-star, so I'll do it, since I know him.
Period. Someone you were personable with.
Right. So it's not just a random person at this time. I've met him before.
He was comfortable.
Yeah, we've talked.
Period.
So we did it. Honestly, I was very tipsy when we did this shoot. It was like, it started at midnight.
Period.
And I had to be tipsy because, let me tell you, girl, when I
the nerves.
When the nerves, the first time I'm on a camera, he set these lights up just like this. I'm like, wait, for real? Like these are on me? He's like, yes, I didn't know nothing about
So bedroom
porn.
sex turned into porn.
Yeah, and I'm like, this, I couldn't believe it, girl. I'm
Culture
like,
shock, I'm here.
especially me being from, like, I knew nothing about porn.
So you wasn't a porn watcher?
I watched porn, but I didn't understand what went behind it, because this is what people don't understand.
Talk about it.
This is what people don't understand. There is a lot that goes behind that. There is a lot of people watching you behind the camera. There's a lot that goes into it.
There's a team.
There is a production team. There is stuff you have to talk about before. There is paperwork. There is a lot. And I was blown the fuck away. I was like, wow.
Kind of me on a couple days ago.
Yes. And I tried to explain to her, but until you...
First time.
Yes, I tried to explain to her, but until you do it, it's like, this is crazy.
Everybody in the whole wide world think they could do it.
And they think that it's so
easy.
It's work, okay?
You're hearing it from the goats.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
So I did it, and this video
For
was...
you Instagram, OnlyFans, we will talk about the difference if there is one. I don't know. I'm just here.
It's a big
difference. It's a big difference.
Hearing it from them,
and this is me being completely raw and real. Like, I was blown the fuck away, and this is just an amateur company. Shout out to them, because they really paved my way.
Shout out to who you are.
And it was thickasfuck.com.
So thickasfuck.com, let's go. Shout out to you.
Shout out.
Thank you, Ken.
Now look at her.
Thank
you done
you,
broke
Ken.
her
I
and
do
she just
appreciate
ain't never
it,
left
yeah.
yet. Please don't.
I appreciate you.
Your fans will be sad. So let's talk about that, kind of getting right into it, since we're talking about them porn scenes that first time. Let's talk about Miss Jenny on the block, most current, new first time on a mainstream adult on browser. She scored her first scene on browsers. Excuse me.
They finally got me after years.
Hello, let's talk now after years. So talk about that. Like, they've been hitting you up, porn companies in my DM. Oh my God, what's going on with this? I don't do that.
So
but now you're doing it, so let's talk about it.
Let me tell you. So when the whole escorting thing became very draining for me, a very good friend of mine, Lisa Iris, which I always give her props because
Shout out to Lisa.
Yes, Lisa's amazing.
She's a very good girl.
Yes.
She loves the girls.
She kissed really good.
Yeah, she does. We love you.
She do everything very good.
Very good friend of mine. She was the one that got me on OnlyFans because, I was going through a rough patch, depression kicked in and everything from the escorting.
This was like 2 years ago, 2-3 years ago.
No, girl, this was around 3 years ago, right?
3 years
like
ago.
a year before the pandemic, I started OnlyFans.
Pre-pandemic, guys.
Yes. And I just started shooting crazy on OnlyFans. I started shooting with Lisa. We were shooting with porn stars.
Woo!
That's around the time that I met Miss Dani over here.
Oh, that experience.
Crazy times we had. And I started shooting, and I was making now so much money on OnlyFans. I didn't need to do the escorting no more.
It took her from having a go person.
OnlyFans saved my life. Yes.
I'm gonna cry now. Y'all know I'm an emotional.
Yes. And that's what happened. I started shooting on OnlyFans, and I started getting more recognition because I'm shooting now with well-known porn stars. So Brazzers has been hitting me up for years, but I was always scared to shoot because I didn't want to have content out there that didn't belong to me. I was very afraid of that. Very afraid of that.
Did you? I don't know if you people grasp what she just said. Her scare was not about like some people. It's each his own. Everybody's their own story. My story is similar. Were you worried about your family or this or that?
No, because at this point, my family knew everything around this time.
What she said.
Yes.
So we were already past that. Her thing was ownership.
Ownership.
Bitch, I'm a boss. You know?
Ownership.
I'm coming in here giving this pussy, but this pussy costs. She already knew what it meant. So
that was a big scare for me. It was a big scare for me, you know, going in, getting paid a rate, and then not owning my material.
So where did you even know that the industry was like that? Like somebody must have gave you the game.
Yeah, at that time, a lot of girls were getting reached out by big companies, and nobody wanted to do it. So of course, you know, I had always girls that mentor me, and I was like, no, I don't want to. You know, I just don't want to shoot. I want to be always be in control of my footage, my stuff. And so I always said no every time I was getting reached out. And so this is around now, pandemic hits New York, and New York was a shit show. Yeah, New York was a shit show in the pandemic. And you know, I moved to Las Vegas around that time, and I did the biggest mistake of my life.
Wait, what is it?
The biggest mistake of my life. I mean, I had a huge fan base on Instagram. I was like at 1.1 million followers on Instagram.
Y'all remember that?
When I was just Uptown Jenny, my OnlyFans was fucking popping, and I decided to get myself in a relationship, which I don't want to name over here. But I got myself in a relationship, and the person that I got myself into didn't want me shooting. No more shooting with men, no more shooting with girls.
A lot.
And we're talking era, frequent,
yes,
legend.
Yes. So
You'll hear it on many occasions.
Yeah. And you know, I wanted to please this person, so I completely stopped. I went from shooting
to the point where I was like, is Uptown Jenny
People
in jail?
thought I was dead.
I thought she was in prison, bro.
People didn't know about me. I completely disappeared.
So whoever you are, you do understand the sacrifice at that time
I feel
that was
like
made for you.
one.
I'm just saying, I'm not a love therapist, but piggybacking is all I do.
Well, you see, the thing was that this person promised that he was going to shoot with me, and I told him, I'm going to leave everything, but you're going to shoot with me, and I was promised that.
Hello.
And we all know that not everybody can get behind a camera. Not everybody can shoot.
We all think
it's a hard job. It's a hard job. Not everybody
It's
can
a
do
lot. As a male, you have
especially as a male. Shout out to the
especially
males
as
that
a
can
male.
do it.
Absolutely.
But this is a
We
full-time
thank
job,
you.
sir.
We love
Sir, this is a full-time job.
Yes.
And it is a job.
Your
It is
job.
a job. It's a real job. It's a real job. And
So relationships, because it's a job.
We could go on all day about this.
Yeah, and then in that year, you know, I started losing my fan base because I wasn't shooting no more, you know, and I felt last year, 2021 was a horrible year for me. I felt like in a huge state of depression. I was miserable. All my friends went out the door, you know, and not because they left me, but because I left them.
You started to see them who the fuck they was.
Exactly. No, not that. I just...
No.
Outgrown them?
No. I was so depressed because of the relationship I was in. I isolated myself from the world. I didn't want to. I would go on Instagram and I would see my friends doing amazing, and I'm like, God, I want to go back to that, but I don't know how to because I was so depressed.
So you just wanted some time to yourself.
I wanted to get back out there, but I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to. And then I just, you know, Christmas came and I said to myself, I can't live another 2021. 2022 is about me. I can't do it no more. It's me.
And then look how God. See, I don't want to get into all that because we about whatever we say we about. So it's okay sometimes, and I throw this in. Sometimes we just need to think it through because the perception is our life. We see it through our own lens.
Right.
And we sometimes got to be our own therapist.
Absolutely.
So look at that. Look
Absolutely.
at you now. When you said, the hell with it, What Drake said, I got done playing. I'm done. What you say? I'm done playing. What they say? Come on. I'm done saying I'm done playing.
I'm done
Yeah,
playing.
when you
I'm
done saying you
in
done playing.
2022.
It took me a minute, Drizzy.
2022.
But
I
it
said,
still
yeah.
slap, and I mean that. So yeah.
I said I'm not 2022. It's not going to be another 2021. I refuse to it. I just refuse to live another 2021. And I said, fuck, now I lost my Instagram in that year. You know, my 1.1 million, I lost my Instagram. Now I'm like,
Get it together.
Now I'm like, fuck, if I reach out to all my girls that I used to fuck with back in the days, are they going to even want to talk to me? Are they going to even help me? You know, like I'm thinking all of this, but I said, I'm going to do it.